Thank you. I'm here to tell you that learning to think like a drummer could change your life. Now, I'm aware drummers may not be the first people you would go to for advice on thinking. In fact, there's an entire website devoted to drummer jokes. This presentation, however, is no joke. Learning to think like a drummer can change your life. So I started to play drums because my dad always wanted to be a drummer, and he bought me a set of drums when I was 4. My dad had this superpower. He could sit down at those drums, and make me want to dance around the room. I couldn't figure out how he did that, but I knew I had to learn. I'll never forget the first time I played those drums, and my dad danced his way off to work. I've seen thousands of people dance to my drumming since that first time, and it never gets old. I first started teaching drums in high school and continued throughout music college. At first, I thought it was a good source of income between gigs. However, my 30 years of teaching, I learned it is much more than that. Teaching drums has been a source of inspiration and life change for many of my students and for me. I once had a student determined to get into music school as a drummer. He'd never been taught some important skills, but he had a great rhythmic feel. So over several months, he worked hard, got his skills together, and he got accepted to his first college choice. Years after the student stopped taking lessons, he wrote to thank me. He told me the things we worked on in our lessons helped him deal with his roommate committing suicide. He said he was able to escape the heaviness and sadness of that situation by getting deep into a groove on his drums, and that kept him going. Another young student who struggled to play things week after week. He kept coming back with a great attitude. He would still struggle. He didn't give up, so neither did I. One day, his dad came to the door, telling me he didn't know what would happen with our drum lesson schedule because his son was diagnosed with cancer, and it was serious. The student kept coming. He came to almost all of his lessons throughout his battle with cancer. He got sick and lost his hair from the chemo. He kept coming back. He had surgery to remove the cancer. He kept coming back. He never complained, not once. I asked him, why do you keep coming to drum lessons? He told me drumming kept him in the groove, taught him to go with the flow. He said, when I was drumming, my mind was not on the cancer. I was focused on being in the groove, not what I was going through. His answer was good enough for me. What I realized is he had learned to think like a drummer. Now, that may sound too simple, but it doesn't mean it was easy. Because if you are truly relaxed and deep in the flow of a rhythm while playing drums, you won't be thinking about your problems, even serious problems. Also, if you think like a drummer, you can be better at adapting to the changing rhythms and tempos of your life while still keeping on course. By the way, this student still comes to lessons, and he's cancer-free. So these profound events and many others made me reevaluate the impact of what I was doing. The question I asked myself was, how did teaching someone to hit a drum with a stick have such a positive impact on people's lives? Well, both of these students told me. They told me they made it through these tough situations by getting in a groove and staying in a groove while drumming. So what does that mean, to be in a groove? Does that mean doing the same thing day after day, every day? I hope not. That sounds like a rut. Being in touch with a rhythm is being in the groove. Our universe is a rhythmic place. The world inside of us and outside of us is rhythmic, and it cycles rhythmically. The seasons change. Days, weeks, months, and years are all rhythmic. Thinking about the rhythm of kids and teachers going back to school after summer break, or a farmer harvesting and planting crops, or an accountant at tax time. All of these situations require people to adjust to a rhythmic change. And since we are living in this universe, I think learning to adjust to rhythms makes sense. Being in rhythm can help us be happier and make us more productive. Maybe we'll get along better if we're grooving in rhythm together. So how have I helped people learn to drum and get in a groove? One of the things I do is challenge a saying that music teachers have used for decades. Practice makes perfect, right? We've all heard that one. Or is it perfect practice makes perfect? I've seen both of these actually be very harmful. I hope we know there's no perfect. In fact, trying to be perfect can certainly take you out of a groove. It usually causes anxiety and frustration. It's one of the main reasons I've seen people give up on practicing, or even worse, quit. You could do all the right things and practice over and over again, but still never be perfect. Realizing there's no perfect can help take the pressure off, make it more fun. Even those considered the best at what they do are not perfect. So instead of trying for perfection, how about aiming for a higher percentage of consistency, which happens when you are problem solving and adapting as you go? I think the Einstein quote is very appropriate. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. So does this mean we should not practice over and over again? No. You do need to commit to keep going. But problem solve and adapt as you go. Be aware of what is happening and how you feel. Breathe and listen to how you sound. There are many great practice techniques, so don't keep trying to practice the same way over and over again, especially if you're not getting results. So if you keep aiming for higher consistency, you can think like a craftsman and consistently work on your craft. Here are some real-life examples of how getting a groove can help us. How many of us have joined a gym? Okay. How many quit? Okay. So many of us had tried to get in better shape, stick to a diet, make a New Year's resolution, or perhaps try to learn an instrument. We might start out inspired and keep at it for a while, but then give up. What happened? Did we lose interest? Were we too busy and didn't have the time? Or did we never find our groove? I think that's it. You have to demand commitment from yourself to find the groove of any situation. Being taken out of your comfort zone is necessary for growth. And when you find the groove, you'll find a new comfort zone and start to see the results you've been looking for. If you're in a great groove in your life, you're usually happy, in touch, and successful. But what happens if the groove changes? That's where the problems can occur. Like, what happens if your job gets changed because of a leadership decision? You develop health issues, or the stock market falls. Sometimes we might find ourselves in a situation that takes our groove away, like we are drumming in the wrong band. This could be a situation where you're trying too hard or trying to do too much. Maybe you're spreading yourself too thin. Maybe there's no clear groove to find. Sometimes we may need to move on from a situation to find our groove elsewhere. If you're thinking like a drummer, you can be better at adapting to changing rhythms. But if the rhythm changes, you need to listen to it and get deep within the feel of a new rhythm before you try to jump in. So I'd like to have some fun. I'd like to have you all clap along with me and work on feeling a groove. So remember, you need to listen to the rhythm and feel it before you come in. So let's have you all clap along. Good. Keep going. Sound great. All right, I'm going to count to 4, and we're going to stop on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you all did great. All right, adapt to a new groove. Here we go. Clap this rhythm. Good. Keep going. Great. So enjoy yourselves being in rhythm together. Listen to yourselves and listen to everyone else in the room. All right, I'm going to count to 4, and we're going to stop on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. One more. Everybody clap along. Okay. So did you all hear what happened there? Some of you came in too soon. You didn't listen to the rhythm that was going on. So That's okay. Most people will rush into a new situation. So take your time and listen a few times before you come in. Let's try that again. Works every time. Good, keep going. I'm going to count to 4, and we're going to stop on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you all did great. Yeah, give yourselves a hand. So through listening and feeling the groove, you're all able to clap along. You were also able to adapt to a new rhythm. That's what it's like to think like a drummer. So I have a question. As we were in rhythm and grooving together, how many of you thought about any of the world's problems? Anybody? Right. That is the power of rhythm and being in a groove. We have to find our groove like a drummer. And if the groove changes, we have to adapt to it by listening and bracing the feel of the new rhythm. Drumming and being in a groove and being in a rhythm creates a sober escape from your problems. And it's fun. We have to find our groove like a drummer. And if the groove changes, we have to groove with the changes by embracing the process of listening, feeling, and learning the new groove. This presentation is just a small part of thousands of years of rhythms bringing people together, from ancient tribal drumming to now. And what a privilege it's been to share this rhythmic experience with all of you. I hope you all learn to listen to the rhythms in your life, because that can create real change. Thank you.